Okay, previously on,
Yay.
so you, our last session started with the party feeling pretty tired and exhausted and beat down from a fight with a monster with a large maw that kept trying to kidnap your friend Fendir, but much to Vanya's monkish antics and Firen's good couple of heavy swings, defeated that and some fist-sized spiders that were in swarms. And you got to take a little rest. You popped a squat, and though you really wanted to sleep for hours and hours, determined it was not safe enough for that. Though you could manage just the short hour to recover some stamina. In that time, Fendir told a story of resilience and the importance of keeping on even when you're worn down to the bone. That is an important legend to their people. And then you, after your rest was over, you started journeying forth again through these mines to try to find the source of the evil and the final missing people that you had been looking to find. You came upon a fork in the path with 3 potential passages. At this point, it seemed that Fendir's ring was starting to emanate a strange magic that you didn't quite trust. You tackled and pinned down your friend, who was very nonchalant about the whole situation.
With love.
With love.
We were
with love,
so
and some flirting was thrown in there too. In this, as you came to this fork with 3 passages, after much thinking, investigation, and Vanya licking a piece of jewelry, you came to the conclusion that you should
for science.
take the... Yes, of course, you licked the ring for science. You came to the conclusion that you should journey forth down the hallway lined in a greenish blue ore that you concluded was, in fact, oxidized iron, or not iron, copper would help if I said the right word. At the end of the hallway, your party was blasted forth through an open doorway during the time of which you were overcome with a pleasant warmth as you were granted a long rest magically, or the effects of a long rest, and turned to see a large hulking humanoid-ish, but not quite, figure made of darkness and shadows that tethered itself into the mythical vein of mithril before you, and began to drain it, this never-ending vein, of all of its power. As you fought and fought against it to try to prevent this from happening, your party was battered and beaten, grievously wounded, fell, brought back up and fell again, bringing the creature before you to a low strength, destroying its tether, that it reformed and destroyed again, until about 20% of the original size of the mithril wall remained, which is when the creature looked at Vanya, who was barely standing on his feet, Firen having just fallen, Fendir having just fallen, and though it had no face, seemed to smile upon you, almost as if saying, I could kill you, but it's more fun if I don't, before it turned and walked out of the chamber. And that brings us to now. Vanya, you look around and you see Fendir and Firen are both prone on the ground near you. Firen looks in slightly better shape. She looks like she's perhaps stabilized and not in imminent danger of dying at this moment. But Fendir looks pretty bad, and I am going to roll a... Let's roll. Fendir is not looking good. You have 1 turn before rolling. Before Fendir will roll another save.
Oh God.
We're in death save, so we're still kind of in initiative. Though there's no. The shadows also dissipated with the when the creature left, the shadows dissipated. So it's just you guys in this room.
Mhm.
But Fendir has made one death save.
Vanya, I don't suppose you have any special skills that would suit us in this moment, do you?
So make a medicine check. Medicine check to stabilize. I think.
I do have.
Um,
I do have one potion of healing, so I can use that on somebody.
Oh, or you can do that. Yeah.
yeah, definitely use it on Fendir.
I'm gonna make sure. That there's no like wild monk abilities I've forgotten about.
Yeah.
If they're falling, I could slow it.
A medicine check would be a DC 10 wisdom. Wait, no, medicine wisdom? Yes, it is. It would be a DC 10 medicine check to just stabilize Fendir, or you could use a potion or other healing ability.
Okay, let's see if Vanya, what are you like? Okay, that's not bad. Let's medicine check. Well, let's start with healing potion on Fendir, and then I can medicine check on Firen next, and then it's fine.
Firen's stabilized. I'm good.
Because of the
Little
ghost
ghosty. What did the ghosty look like?
I'm forgetting everything.
You don't know. You weren't awake to see it.
Yeah, but Vanya was. Maybe he didn't see it.
Yeah,
it's
what
fine.
did the ghost look like?
Vanya, do you want to use his turn to roll investigation or perception check?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it. No.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Mind you that my passive perception is a 22.
Oh. Vanya, you would also know that because you would still have the potions. Fendir also has a potion of healing on their person that you would probably be able to.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, you would be able to use
too.
an object interaction to find. So.
Perfect. Glug glug glug, Fendir.
Great. You tip open their mouth and pour a potion down their unconscious gullet. Let me just use that so I don't forget. How do I use? Did it go? I hit it 3 times. Oopsie. Plus. Great. Fendir coughs and sputters back to consciousness with 5 HP. And it's a good thing because they did fail their first death save. They had me.
Whoopsie. Not ideal.
Not ideal. Fendir will sit up, sputter and cough a little bit, and sort of like ready to go back to the fight before realizing that doesn't seem to be any enemies in sight at the moment. And how do I?
That was so I know how many days I can until that can be used again.
Great.
I think that's just specifically the unconscious thing.
That effect, yeah, because that lantern's quite a few different pieces. Okay. Every sheet in different style of sheet in Foundry has a different way to filter what things you can cast. Where did Fendir will sit up, see that the imminent danger has seemed to pass, and will cast Cure Wounds on Firen at a first level because their spells are nearly done. And Firen, you come back to consciousness with 6 HP. Ooh, you're at 5, 6, and 7. That's kind of fun.
Look at us. It's not that fun. But
Hey, at least we're alive.
yes.
And then that'll be that'll be fine. But Fendir's also going to use their divine action channel divinity to regain a second level spell slot, because just in case.
That
Seems
makes me
good.
nervous.
Just because that's what
You never know what you might need.
I would do as a PC if I were in the situation of if I had a thing and I only had one level 2, I would do that. Above the table, like, I'm not putting you guys through another combat in this state. I promise. That would be insane of me. So okay. So yes, Fearin, you similar to Fendir, come to, though a little bit less violently, because there's no potion being poured down your throat. You are able to awake with still very injured at 6 hit points.
I think Fearin wakes up and, like, jolts upright, grabbing her halberd, looking around, assuming they're still in a fight. Where'd it go?
Gone.
Oh. Fearin continues to sit on the floor. Head in her hands for a second before, like, rubbing her face and standing up. Shakily, because she is, exhausted and, not doing great. And she looks to the wall of mithril. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What? I failed. Karen's gonna walk towards the wall and put her hand on it. Because she knows that in the middle of the fight, she was able to put her hand on it and heal it a little bit, and she is half expecting nothing to happen. But she will try.
Why don't you make me an Arcana check?
Ooh.
Farron, you place your hand upon the wall of this floor before you, and there's a little bit of a warmth and a little bit of a pulse of energy beneath your palm that feels like the exchange of energy you felt within the battle itself, greatly diminished. You don't. The swirl of raw arcana that you had felt during the fight itself that connected you to this literal legend within Redona, you think was somehow only possible because of what the creature was trying to do with the tether. And that without that actively occurring, that the connection, your inherent magic and the reduction in the mithril veins inherent magic, you don't believe that you're able to sort of form that same connection again, unfortunately. But you just still feel that sort of tug of connection, though faint. Fendir also stands up and looks at the two of you and nods towards a pile of boulders and large crates against the far side of the same wall. Says, why don't we go somewhere a little more comfortable to talk about this? And pushes aside the front face of one of the wooden crates, revealing a passageway beyond.
There was a dwarf body here, right? That was number.
Oh, yes.
That was the last body we needed to find, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Of the
yes,
missing ones, not the ones that never made it to the.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You go and investigate, and you see that it is been severed clean in two, possibly through the force of the blast, and the two sides are maybe like 3 feet apart. So from afar, it looked like they were possibly still living, but Fendir looks and says, "Oh, that's Smitty Jensen. His ma's gonna be real sad about this one." Vanya, will you add it to the tally you've been keeping?
Mm-hmm.
Erin is really frustrated with herself and is going to pick up a rock and, angrily hurl it across the room. And, that like frustrated manner of like, ah. Yeah.
Vanya does immediately turn in the direction in which she threw the rock, quarter stop ready, thinking that she's reacting to danger.
Fendir will look at you both and follow me, please. And we'll lead you through this secret passage in this wooden crate. As you duck inside, Vanya, a fair amount, since it's the wooden crate's, roughly 5 by 5, so you duck your head a little bit. you see that on the other side is a medium-sized chamber, unlike anything you've seen else in this mine. The floors, unlike the rough-hewn stone you've been traversing this whole time, are tiled in polished gray marble, with a border of orange-red metallic inlay, highly polished as well, where it meets sort of lighter gray stone wall. It's a single chamber, but it's been seemingly subdivided into different zones. Immediately in front of you, there's a small sitting area with plush sofas and a old-looking but still, detailed, beautiful rug. They look old but well maintained. At the far end of the room, you can see that there's an unlit forge that has a bevy of what looks like Smith's tools from this vantage point. Nearby that, there's a small desk that looks newly added. You sort of intuit that because it's a very new, fresh wood. It's none of the sort of patina of old, worn, time-earned longevity. With smaller spools on top and a paper stacked, sort of stacked onto the one side. You also see a number of wooden storage chests, trunks, and crates filling shelves, lining up one full wall. There's a door that you see the letters WC written on the front, tucked into a corner. And there's a large tapestry hanging against the wall farthest, sort of against the wall you came in on if you turn. Fendir gestures to you both to feel free to take seats on the couches or in any of the chairs available. If you
What's on the tapestry?
Oh, it's pretty worn and old. The colors have not faded because you're underground, but it seems like the dirt and dust of being underground, even in its relatively clean room, have sort of made themselves part of the fabric as it is. It's dark green with designs woven throughout that seem to be you can't really make out what the designs are. That's not a red herring, and I just didn't write anything but the fact that there is a tapestry there.
Valid, real. I was making sure that I wasn't gonna be like, don't worry about the tapestry and that it was important, you know?
Yeah, no, valid too.
What is this place? Maybe I'm just slow, but it feels kind of odd to me to have some place so nice-ish looking deep in the mines.
Well, usually they're not quite so deep in the mines. I don't really know what's happening. This mine, the mithril part of the mine, this room, shouldn't be here. It's usually accessible only through the Copperbane family mine. There's, a good few kilometers from here. This room...
Specific, you recognize this room and it is meant to be a few kilometers away?
So, first of all, Farron, I'm real sorry for gaslighting you before that sort of battle, because you asked if the story had any significance beyond...
Oh my god, I was right! You...
And so, here's the thing. As you sort of maybe intuited, there's a bit of an NDA situation that sort of I'm bound to. But because we're already in the super secret chamber of the ancients, I think that I'm allowed to tell you because you're already in on the secret, because as far as I know, nobody but a Copperbane's ever been into the mithril chamber, let alone in here. Though the mithril chamber is a bit more important than being in here. This is just sort of a, when you, if you're coming down here to pull some mithril, you kind of want a place to work it and a place to rest if you're going to stay down here for a little bit. So it's kind of nice to have like a nice office that everybody sort of adds to when it's their turn to do the thing. Anyways, so
is it your turn to do the thing?
I mean that's sort of the role that the Verdonian representative of the Council of Colors sort of. They're the guardian of the mithril vein. But because the mithril vein sort of then turned into this legend that's told throughout Redona. But everyone has their different versions and things. And there's like, folks who do seek it, and there are adventurers who sort of try to cut their teeth on finding it, think they're gonna, win fame and fortune that way. But no one's ever done it because, magic. So learned sort of over the years and from the people before me that you can sort of tell the story in general, and you're not sort of locked out by the magic of the secret. But it's only when you're getting more specific that it starts to sort of cause physical pain and mental pain, psychic pain rather. And that's why I couldn't help you with any of the sort of with the little bit of a puzzle. It's sort of supposed to be a trial of like greed, and if you're greed can be a bit of a problem when you're working with precious things, and so if you're too greedy you're going to be weighed down by the jewels or the gems or the gold, then you probably aren't going to make it all the way to the mithril. But you all passed that, so good on you. But I think somehow that creature used me to get through the barrier, that doorway when we were granted recovery. That was sort of the mithril and the sort of power of this place, I think, because you were with me and we were holding on to each other, sort of extended it to you all. But I think that's how the creature got through, and that's not good for Adona or me or anyone.
Viren use her detect magic eyes to see if that invisible aura is still around Fendir or if it has disappeared. My thought process is maybe that aura was the spooky guy and it was like literally hitchhiking.
Farron, you see there is sort of still sort of colorless, almost like the waviness of air in a hot summer's day, emanating off of Fendir, but it is probably about 20% of what it was before you faced down that creature. So much less like more of a shimmer than a vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because the mithril vein is also at 20% of what it was before we entered the chamber. Correlation. Numbers. Science.
So, you think you can tell us more now, right? Do you know what this weird shimmer is around you that I can see with my, weird eyes? Because it's less than it was before.
Don't love hearing. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to because I don't see anything myself, but I imagine that it's something to do with my connection and commitment to guard and protect this place from forces that would use it for the wrong reason. So yeah. You also asked me before if it was sort of granted to me, passed down, and yeah, it's a little bit of a
Nepo baby.
what did you? I'm a nepo baby. Yeah. Um,
Fucking knew it.
a little bit. It's less about nepo baby and more about the magical bloodlines. Um, and it's easier to sort of not code, to inherit magic in that way. So it's sort of like Copperbane's before me designated their heirs. It's not always, the firstborn or anything, and it's not always necessarily covered in by blood. It can be, if you take on a child, then sure, they can be your heir. They're not your biological child, but always a child sort of version. No, spouses or anything. You can't marry in and hope to be a sort of guardian here. And also, no one really knows it exists, and no one really hopes to be a guardian. It's sort of like one day you're just working in the mines, the next day they say, "Hey, here's this ancient magical power that's yours to protect and steward." And also, now you have this kind of role within the continent that you didn't really ask for, but it's yours. Good luck. So sort of just
Vanya is feeling like he's hearing himself a little in that narrative.
Erin's kind of hearing herself as well.
Oh my gosh, the narrative parallels.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I've been doing it. I've been on the sitting on the council now for a couple of years. My dad was the sort of before me, and brought me here and said, "Good luck." Sort of added a jewelry station so I could sort of come down here for like a little bit of privacy sometimes. Sometimes you just want, alone time. And mithril jewelry is real popular. So sort of, never end in vain, but also people would be, but mithril is so valuable in terms of its strength properties and things that, that's why so many people are sort of seek it as adventurers and things. So, sort of make sure that we're not flooding the markets too much, but not in a sort of way that's weird, just in a way of a lot of people would start to get suspicious if they saw too much mithril come out of a place where it's not supposed to be. But I'd make the occasional ring or necklace, and there's loads of weapons and things down here, and points at sort of the cache of chests and things against the wall. Lots of weapons here in case we ever need to defend it from invaders or anything. So I mean, Vanya, you don't really use a whole lot of metal-y stuff on your person, but Farron, if you wanted to trade up for one of the armors that we have in storage, I think that's more than fair given how much you've risked to defend it. Or if you'd rather a mithril halberd, I think that the armor might be more useful, but
she will look for armor.
Yeah. And then Vanya, is there anything that Vanya could use in like any sort of adventuring, like survival or adventuring equipment that could conceivably be made of mithril that might be useful? Vanya's also welcome. I was just like, well, Vanya doesn't wear armor.
Let's find out.
Vanya just got a cool staff that is magic and it doesn't really be made of mithril. Mm-hmm. Because
and also metal stick would be strange, I feel.
Yeah. So because Farron, you're wearing a breastplate now, but if you want heavy armor, I mean, like any type of armor that's in D&D is here. It is just mithril. It's not +1, but at some point you could bring it to be enchanted or something. But it's mostly just the stealth and strength requirements would be gone. And then Fendir also goes into a smaller like chest somewhere and pulls out a jar full of small spheres, and then a couple of glass bottles of potions. If someone wants to roll me a d6 and someone else wants to roll me a d4.
Ooh, which one do you
we can
want?
do that.
I feel like you roll d6s for Fearin all the time. I'll let you roll a d4 so you can have some variety in your life.
Thank you.
Perfect.
And for Aspen, you roll a lot of d6s, so I'll roll a d6 for once.
2.
Great.
3.
Fendir pulls out 3 standard health potions and 2 potions of greater healing, and hands them off to you guys, explaining, also keep, in addition to the sort of defensive stuff, keep sort of the healing stuff here as well for, like I said, it's never been breached before, so it's sort of been a bit of a bunker for a long time, but I guess whoever came up with it wasn't wrong. If anyone's hungry, we got some beads of nourishment here as well, though they taste like shite. But
You said it's not +1 or anything, correct?
Not +1, but it will not have it will not cause disadvantage on stealth.
Mm.
And if you can look into hiring someone to enchant it, or Fendir in theory could enchant it. It would just take them quite a bit of downtime that I haven't determined, but it would be like a while because of that.
You said there's, besides the way that we came in and the bathroom door, what I'm assuming is a bathroom door based on your description.
Good, yes.
You said there's another door, right?
Did I?
I'm trying to remember if you did. I can't remember. You might not have.
No, I don't think I did. There's sort of sofas right in front of you, around on a rug, a plushy area in the back. There's sort of the forge work area with like sort of things. Across from that is sort of where they store all of the stuff that they make with the forging, as well as the other survival gear, nourishment stuff. Awesome. There's a tapestry, water closet.
I was worried I'd missed something, but we're good.
Nope, that was sort of everything.
Jotting it down, but I had like half a sentence somewhere that wasn't meaning anything, and I was like, "What?"
Vanya, on some closer inspection, the tapestry is a pickaxe, a large pickaxe crossed with the tools that they use in a blacksmith. That's like the tongs almost, but they're like pointier. And
I think those might be called tongs.
Great. And then a third, sort of in the middle, is what you understand to be the prism, though it's just sort of a white pillar, a whitish pillar in the middle. So sort of like a fire, you're building a fire like a teepee, but it's flat. That's what it looks like. I should write that down so I don't forget that myself.
Vanya will go open the bathroom door and peek in.
Vanya is hit with a slight wave of odor, ammonia smell, but there's magic. People have stuff that they can kind of clean it, but yeah, it's a chair with a hole in it.
Okay.
And like a basin that has some water magically.
I was checking to see if the bathroom had also been yeeted several kilometers from where it was supposed to be, or if the bathroom had been like left behind. I don't know. I felt like it would give me a clue.
No.
I feel like it's important to note that multiple rooms moved.
Yes.
Do you think I should get half plate, which is medium, AC 15 plus dex, which would be 17, brings me up 1. or just full plate, which brings me up to a flat 18. Because I could, in theory, eventually raise my dex score and get medium armor master so that I could get like a higher AC with the medium armor. Right now she has a 15 dex, so she's at +2. So even if she were to get medium armor master right now, she wouldn't be able to add an extra point to the AC. But that could be something that I work towards down the line.
And you said it's only between the two of them right now is only
It's
a point
1
difference of
point.
AC, 17 versus 18.
Yeah.
And the other
Then I would
difference is
honestly
that
say go for the. Oh, go ahead.
the other difference is that heavy armor takes much longer to take off and put on.
You say to a group of people who have never paid attention to donning and doffing times in our lives.
Listen, I'll say this, you can't sleep in full plate. You can theoretically sleep in some of the other kinds. But as I said, you can pick whatever, there's a variety of whatever, every kind, so.
I mean, is the medium armor master and increasing your dex and whatever, is that only going to bring you up to an 18?
If I were to improve my dex score by 1, yeah, that would only bring me up to an 18.
Okay. Because my thought is, if you got the medium and then worked on improving your score with the medium, would it just end up getting you to where you could be with the heavy immediately?
Yeah.
Right.
So the full thing, you think?
I think so.
Okay.
Great. Fearon, do you want to put that on now?
We'll get you some mithril pajamas if you're not going to be sleeping in your armor.
Jammies. Yeah, she'll
Fearon,
put
you
that
want
on now.
Yeah, great. Fearon starts putting that on. It's going to take 10 minutes to put on.
I have a high dex.
So,
can I help?
You know, the really funny thing is that there's definitely an NADPOD bit about this really deep into the show about a bunch of people trying to help somebody take off and put on their armor to make it faster. And I mean, you can help, but I think it's a little awkward to try to help. I think it just feels a little awkward if you want to do that. You can't.
There's
you can try.
definitely a point where, like,
we're not in a hurry.
If you have too many people helping you, it gets to the too many cooks in the kitchen, where there's too many bodies right there. But
yeah,
I feel like it is normal to have one person help you put armor on, though. Like, knights have squires.
Work. Yeah,
I was gonna say Fearon needs a squire.
Vanya can be Fearon's squire for now, and then we'll get you a specifically hired squire. We'll hire you a squire later.
Squire, hireling, squireling.
a squire for hire.
Yeah, that's my new important question. Would you allow us to at some point hire a squire for Fearon, and they don't help us in combat, but they have plot armor?
Fearon already has a monkey.
That's true. Oh my god, Squip is my squire.
Squire?
Oh, now I'm imagining Squip like hopping all over the place, doing up your like buckles on your armor.
Yeah, and Squip is also made of metal, so every time Squip hops across your metal plate, your full plate now, it's going to be just like little like ding 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 as they hop across you. No, I guess it's mithril, so I guess if you don't disadvantage on stealth for that, then I guess it maybe it doesn't. But it's cute, so when it doesn't matter for flavor, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering if he could.
Squip is tap dancing.
If he could do something for Squip, make Squip more durable or sneaky or something with mithril, but also
we would like a small mithril top hat for Squip.
Oh my god!
And Fendir,
but also like it just got attacked, so maybe not. Maybe we can hold off.
Yeah, I'd love to try if we could get the vein back in action, but I've pulled mithril from it dozens of times, and it never looked any smaller, even when I was sort of, making a full set of armor, and it doesn't seem to be regenerating like it usually does. So the never-ending part of it is not seeming to be in full force. So I'll make the little guy a little something if we ever get that fixed. But for now, I think best to stick to the pre-made things or things I can sort of easily adapt. Just
I'm sorry.
For the sake of.
I was looking at the different armors while you were describing what was in the rooms. There was the bathroom in the other room. What was in that room?
So it's really just one big room, and there's a water closet to the side. There's the sofas around a rug, sort of in front of you, a small sitting area. Beyond that, there's a forge that's currently unlit. It looks well equipped with a bunch of smith's tools. Near that, there's a small desk that looks, it's wooden, that looks pretty new. You get the sense that Fendir added it themselves, like somewhat recently, to have a nice workstation for their jewelry work. And there's some papers on that. And then there's also against one wall is filled with shelving that contains a bunch of storage chests, trunks, crates, and shelves. It's kind of like a doomsday bunker a little bit in that sense, because it's like sort of this defense bunker, and that is where Fendir helps you pull out a suit of armor from suit of plate mail from one of the larger crates on the bottom of the on the bottom shelf. Once you express that's your desire, and they had pulled out some. They said a jar of beads of nourishment, some health potions, and distributed those from a smaller trunk up top.
Did you put, or I guess what potions did you put in your inventory?
I didn't.
Okay, we should do that now.
Yes, 2 greater and 3 regular.
How do we want to
Let's each take a greater to start with, because that's evensies.
And I don't know if you guys have regular already imported, so if not, let me go see.
I have 1 regular currently.
Greater healing.
In my inventory, because we used Fendir's instead moments ago. Do you have any regular in your inventory currently?
I do. Well, I mean, I'm out of it, but I have the slot for it. I don't have to import it.
Yeah, okay, if you're out of it, why don't you take 2 and I'll take 1. So that'll bring us each up to 1 greater, 2 regular. Math.
Great. And you need me to add the graders to your inventories, correct?
No, I
think we can probably import them.
What? I already have it imported, so if I can drag it, then I will.
Sorry,
then I'll just take that, yeah.
already imported it. My bad.
Oh, well then there you go. Well then, and also I don't know how to do that.
Hang on a minute. A regular potion of healing weighs half a pound? What the hell?
That can't be right.
No, because a bottle of water, this is 16 ounces, which is a pound. I mean, fluid ounces, but 16 ounces is a pound in weight. So this 12 ounces, this is about half a pound for a can of drink. That's about right, I think. I mean,
yeah, that's a lot bigger than my imagined.
I know, you're chugging an entire can of soda every time you want to heal yourself in 6 seconds, but,
Yeah, I was imagining it like a small vial, I'll be honest. We're learning today.
I really think every time that I'm just going to be able to easily just drag the... Vanya, you should have the potion of greater healing in there now.
Let's check. Yeah, I do, thank you.
Great.
That doesn't weigh anything.
Who's to say what Foundry, has in there.
I don't think
Who the hell
mithril
knows?
weapon does.
No, it doesn't. And Fendir sort of says you can either do armor or a weapon.
I figured that would be the case, but I wanted to look it up just in case.
It's sort of like, thank you for helping defend this, but also now we have very limited supply of mithril because it's not regenerating.
And my weapon's already got the full charm.
And you have the thing, yeah. Vanya, is there anything that would be useful to you that we might have in our sort of supply?
Okay, so I thought about it for Vanya, and the only ideas I came up with were really stupid. They include novelty mithril cufflinks. The other funny idea I had, but I thought about it, and I don't think it works within the rule. I think it would mess with monk stuff. For a second, I was like, what about like mithril knuckles, like brass knuckles, but mithril? I think that would make it no longer an unarmed strike and mess everything up.
There is an item that I was looking at that, let me see what the thing said that I was looking at that. Yeah, because it wouldn't, brass knuckles.
I feel like that would be a monk weapon, but
brass knuckles. But yeah, I think that you would be. But I think that it wouldn't do it basically because you're under your unarmed strike based on your monk die, right, or something.
Yeah, like it's something like that.
And I think that when I was reading it, basically said that like those types of items are good when you still have like the lowest monk die, but as you go up, it doesn't do anything. But 20.
Yeah, I think so. It's handy for Vanya to not have metal on him because that's the whole reason we gave him the corrosive stuff is because he doesn't have any metal.
That is true. But also mithril is magic metal. And this mithril is magic metal. I don't think mithril is magic metal, but hold on, let me just double check
It might be.
Yeah, so you already have a D6 for your martial arts die.
Right.
So that is your unarmed strikes now, right?
I think so. Lord knows if I understand what any of my characters do.
Yes, you can use a roll you can roll your martial arts die in place of your unarmed strike or your monk weapon. And it grows as you. So eventually you can use like a D10 on your on a staff if it doesn't have a higher thing. But there was
look at that. Imagine if I could read and then I would know things. I do find it really entertaining the way the monk character sheet has to work is that my fists are technically the items in my inventory.
Yeah, Fendir looks for a little bit and isn't able to, and says, I'm sorry, Vanya, I don't think anybody anticipated you'd be trying to defend sort of this ancient legend with their bare fists. So no one sort of put, the figured swords probably are usually more effective in that way. So I can't.
There's no need for apology.
But maybe, but we'll pull out like a finely crafted like dagger, and say,
could there be like a ring of something, like a resistance to some type of damage? Maybe.
See, it's not really so much magic items as it is like, besides the fact that they're just like this material that is magical. Because you guys just got really cool stuff.
I was gonna say I just got a cool prize.
I do like the idea of mithril cufflinks, because
I don't think Vanya would ever bring it up.
Fendir is a jeweler, so I do think it would be fun.
So you know what? Fendir's gonna look around and feel really bad that there's nothing that would help Vanya in a fight throughout these storage.
Fendir's about to pierce Vanya's ears right here in the mines with a lemon and an ice cube.
And then goes to their own desk and pulls out a pair of beautiful sapphire and mithril. Right now they're still just sort of like pendants because they haven't yet fastened them onto anything that could be warnings. They sort of building the piece, and they were going to decide if it was going to be earring or necklaces or bracelets or whatever. I don't have anything that would help you in a fight, but you did save my life earlier, and also you helped protect this. Me do my sort of sacred duty to my people in the continent. So. Can I turn these into something for you? If you'd like, cufflinks or are your ears pierced? Because you're so tall up there, I don't.
They are not.
See. Well, if you'd like them to be pierced, we could do that. Or a bracelet or a toe ring or whatever you might like.
Ooh, toe ring.
And they're sort of the right color. It's sort of the right color blue to match the aperture. Aperture colors, like that really deep, rich blue.
Cufflinks sound rather sophisticated. Thank you.
Well, I'll have to take me some time to finish them up to that, but I'll work on that next time I get a chance and be my gift to you.
Thank you.
Yes. And we'll put them in their pocket and seemingly crumple up a piece of paper a piece of parchment on the table that was perhaps an order form that had requisitioned these beautiful piece of jewelry that perhaps they will need to now figure out later. But
then don't crumple it.
Et cetera, et cetera. Fearing the plate fitting all right. You need anything oiled or fit down to your height? Can help you find other pieces you need.
She sort of jumps and jostles it to see how she moves, and she finds that she's able to move a lot more smoothly than she thought she would be able to, hence mithril.
Quick. Out of stealth. I'll look this way. And now your stealth is no longer with a disadvantage. You want to roll, you can. You don't have to.
You can hide behind Vanya, he's tall.
Actually, I want to roll a disadvantage anyway, because I do think she is just diving for the nearest place.
like a little kid hiding, and you can see their feet sticking out from under the curtain.
Farron, it only makes it quiet. It only helps you keep quiet without the clanking between the plates. It doesn't actually make you invisible, or I can still see you between Vanya's legs.
Hey yo.
So, maybe more
shit, I thought because he was so tall you would be able to see. Okay.
But he's kind of thin. He's kind of like a little stick bug. Quite lean.
You're right. He
sort of makes you quite sturdy, like a dwarf.
Yeah.
Like a dwarf. With a little bit of an eyeball at you. I have a dog. Oh, come here, dog.
Come here, dog.
Dog ran away from me, and in doing so, ran away, and then very loudly bonked her head on the bedpost.
Whoops.
Well, that's what she gets.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just gonna take a breather, I think, and Fendir's just gonna plop on the couch because it's been a long day, y'all. I do think so there is sort of a way to get back to the surface from within the room easy, so we don't have to go back through the slaughterhouse out there. But I don't know if I'll be able to speak as freely. This is sort of the only place we can sort of guarantee that I'll be able to speak to you at all about anything. If you have any other questions, you might as well ask me now, because I don't know if we'll be able to return here once we leave, because again, I don't know. It's not where I expected it to be.
So
Is it?
you are still under the effects of this binding thing that prevents you from speaking about whatever, right? Just, it's you're a lot more free to speak, or are you like completely free to speak?
I believe that I would be. It's not so much. I don't want you to think it's a negative thing. It's like I'm bound or prevented from. It really is a protection, and it makes it kind of easy to. If I can't talk about it, then I won't.
In case you were tortured for information.
I'm just simply not able. They're not able to. But I think because we're already within the bounds of the secret, that it's not activated in the same way. So I do believe here I could try, and if I start to, wither away into pain and suffering, then I'll stop talking. But it's never been that bad. It's just sort of a bit of a migraine that sort of gets worse if you try to go further. And, I think, well, I could tell you some things that I think you already sort of are aware of, that maybe I think this, so remember when you burst into sort of the ritual chamber the other day?
Fondly.
Vividly, yes.
And we were sort of, part of why we were meeting so early before the ritual itself was that there have been sort of all these weird occurrences across the continent.
Yes,
the beasts and monsters have been popping up that no one's seen before, and sort of don't feel natural to the plane or to the continent of Prismara. So we were sort of trying to pin down what could be the tie between them all, because there's a public council that sort of does all the sort of actual governing in terms of like tariffs and trade routes and bartering and making sure everybody has the things they need. The Dawn fields get grain to Redona, and Redona make sure that they have enough salt and lime and things to make the things they need. And sort of the same across the places, but so they sort of deal with the stuff that the people know about, and the sort of the council. It's sort of, we deal with the stuff that's the people don't know about, because it's scary to live in a world that's full of scary things. So we were trying to figure out what was happening and what the tie was between them all, and we didn't really come to any consensus. And then you all sort of barged in. And then there was that whole mess during the actual ritual, and that seemed to be sort of akin to the things there. And then this whole thing happened. So I think this seems relevant, but I don't.
So the Grey is presumably responsible for the beasts and monsters and stuff keep popping up.
Yeah, I guess is that what that was the
I think
the ritual that was
the cult.
I feel like that's what we surmised from.
we did. we hadn't quite gotten that far in our own discussion, so that's great insight into what's going on. I'm not, what do you call them? The Gray?
The Gray.
I've never heard of them. But that's quite concerning. If this is all orchestrated versus sort of natural disasters.
However, sometimes a common source is easier to target and rectify rather than a myriad of sources.
It's true, you can't stop an earthquake, but you can stop a person who tries to cause an earthquake.
We are actually working on developing technologies to stop earthquakes.
You are? How are you doing that? That'd be great for people of the mines.
Personally, I'm more of a chemist, so it's not my area of specific expertise, but I know that there are scientists within the order working on such things, geologists and
surely
climatologists primarily.
Surely you're part geologist, though, right? I've seen you lick rocks.
I have a broad spectrum of basic knowledge in a great number of scientific disciplines. That's what allowed me to choose what I would specialize in.
Licking the rock was a pretty fine move. Got you there in the end. Good on you.
Yes.
It was gross, but cool.
It's not only geologists that sometimes lick their samples in order to discern further information, actually. Chemists do not, for a variety of reasons. We waft more. But archaeologists also sometimes
they lick bones?
They lick something to see if it is a bone.
Did you lick that fossil you found the other day?
No. I was fairly certain it was.
I'm gonna have Farron roll an intelligence check to see if she knows the difference between a paleontologist and an archaeologist.
Great, please do.
Do we have dinosaurs? Are dinosaurs a thing?
Okay, wait.
Well,
are you talking about, like, people that, like, study old civilizations, or, like, the people that are very bone-focused? I forget the names, but this has nothing to do with what we need to be talking about.
Perhaps we could circle back on that when we're not in this sort of, like, sacred chamber of my people.
I'm so sorry. I'm so fascinated by Vanya's brain.
Honestly, it's quite a testament to the uniqueness of your personality that you're able to sidetrack us when we're sort of in a dire situation, such as this.
Thank you, I think.
Good on you, Vanya. Keeping it light.
Really quick sidebar is at one point I bought a bone inlay picture frame, and I was had laid it on the ground before I was like waiting for the picture. I had to go get the picture printed or whatever. And Roscoe, one of the pups, came over, and Roscoe loved licking this bone inlay picture frame. So dogs also like to lick bones to know if they're bones.
Tasty.
That is a real thing, by the way.
Because of course he would want to lick a bone, but it was just funny to be like, oh, he actually really like, living up to his species. But archaeologists
in real life do actually lick to see if it's a bone or a rock, because a bone will stick to your tongue.
Interesting.
Archaeologists, not paleontologists?
They're all digging
I
stuff
guess they're all
up
digging bones.
and wondering
yeah.
whether it's a bone or a rock.
That's true.
So we came across Viridia, I believe was her name. That tiefling lady from
I've known her for a number of years.
Porticoli.
Porticoli, yes.
She's from Porticoli.
And she also had a very similar condition.
I believe all of us sort of have something or other.
But hers seemed to have something to do with the aperture, and Vanya being luminary.
I'm afraid I don't know what that means. Though I did think it was quite funny when Serafina was insisting that you couldn't be something. Just because she's a little bit of a hothead sometimes. But she's sort of the aperture is sort of important and helps us do the ritual, because it sort of helps align the sort of divine arcane and like spirit, like the spirit, sort of the three aspects of magic, as you of course know, because you're Prismarans. Well, I guess Fearon, you said you're not, but you've lived here for a while. That the prism sort of represents. But I don't know anything about that. But I think that none of us know any of the others. I couldn't even tell. I'll put it this way: I couldn't even tell Viridia about this. If I saw her tomorrow, couldn't tell her that we were down here and in this way fought this creature freely as I am now. I don't believe, and that's sort of the way. It's another safeguard so that we're all. If somebody got to one member of the council, then the rest of the magic of Prismara wouldn't be lost, or in danger. But what I sort of do know is that every province has to have an anchor that the prism connects to during the ritual. And the mithril vein was Verdona's. So the ritual we do on Prism's Day creates a through line from the prism straight to the mithril vein and anchors it into the land, and that's how it sort of reinfuses with the magic. And I think that because we just did the Prism's Day ritual, we won't feel the effects immediately. But I don't know how we could do next year's ritual or what this means for Verdona if in the story she finds the mithril vein, but when she comes up, her people don't even need it because they're minds have been replenished. And Redona, for whatever brings it about, the mines never run empty. Not really. There's always another mine to find, another vein to find. And so it's not like everything's never ending, but that's sort of, the magic of it, right? The mithril vein, never ending mithril vein meant nothing else was really ever gonna. We're never gonna be left destitute again because we were resilient and we kept going even when things were hard. And
maybe
yeah,
it just needs time to replenish. I don't know shit about this, but no.
Do you have any efficient means of communication with the other members of the council?
That's a send-in spell.
If there's been an attack on one of the anchors,
oh shit!
Attacks on the others may be coming. We ought to warn them.
Well, the waterfalls.
Oh shit! That's the anchor.
I don't know what the other anchors are because that's sort of part of the secret and the magic and the safety.
I was gonna ask.
I don't know what the other anchors are because it's just within everyone's best interest to keep the information sort of siloed. But I'd say that it happened at the same time as the earthquake and sort of cutting off the city from the rest of the continent for the most part, because that's sort of the main transport between them. Doesn't bode well. I don't know exactly what the anchor is there. Only I guess Arvina would know that, but or perhaps our family. But I do think that seems to be, if you can't anchor the magic to the continent's not going to have magic anymore. Or then what's the magic going to go? I don't really know. It's sort of above my pay grade, but let's see. Do I have sending today? Fendir did not prepare sending today because sending didn't make sense when you're going to a mine to go do a massive rescue mission. But
fair enough.
But I can I definitely try to cast a send-in to somebody tomorrow if we think that's the best course of action.
I think it's likely that this is not an isolated attack on the vein. There seems to be something more coordinated going on across the entire continent.
And you said you'd encountered this cult before.
Yeah, the gray.
I need to scroll back.
What Vespa thought of the bitch who attacked at the ceremony.
I didn't care much for them.
I don't anymore.
You knew them?
Yeah. I used to be part of another adventurer group. I've told you about this, right?
I actually don't remember if you told Fendir, because I know you told would have come up in the past 3 days?
Probably not, but
Yeah. You don't need
anyway.
to go through, but you can sort of summarize.
Yeah, she summarizes
yeah,
like how she was in another. She trauma dumps.
Fendir
like
puts a callous hand on over one of Fearon's and sort of squeezes it and says,
Hang on. I think we
went through
misremembered.
that.
It's the Ashen, isn't it?
oh, sorry, I had it written down in the gray as the gray in at some point, and then it might have changed, or like we got fresher information.
No one's declared any allegiance to any organized group that you've encountered in those scenarios.
I'm pretty sure Vesper did.
Oh, okay, the Vesper did. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. The Ashen is my name for it, but I didn't want to correct if I didn't remember what had happened. Thanks for your notes.
I love notes.
Great.
Yeah, I have the Ashen
The gray also
written.
works.
The gray sounds correct.
The gray also works because the ash is gray.
Ash
and
is
like,
gray.
Yeah, I have it written earlier when Vanya sprung the trap in the mine, and I was like, who set the traps? Was it the Ashen? No. Or maybe, we don't know.
yeah, Fendir squeezes your hand. I'm sorry I went through that. When, apologies for asking, but when was that?
I
think we said 6 months ago-ish.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Piranha died 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
6 months and 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks and 3 days, I think, ish. Now, because we're now like 2.5 weeks into this from the campaign start.
Oh, good on you keeping track of how long it's been in your campaign.
Oh, I need to actually do the math, but that's about right now. I know we're 3 days past summer solstice because I made you guys roll die for how many people died based on how many days you took. That's strange because that's around the same time that when we started seeing things, when we all gathered, that people started seeing these strange things. Like here again, nothing big, nothing major. This is definitely the biggest thing that's occurred. But a strange creature that shouldn't have been there, a gruesome death that no one could explain. Things disappearing. It's disconnected across the whole continent in little pockets, and no one could really figure out. And it was around that same time. I don't.
What was that sheet of music that we found? That Vesper gave us. I don't.
Hang on.
I remember it was given to us. I don't remember much about it though.
A lot about that because it was fascinating to me and weird, and I was like, All right. So, the parchment was, and I quote, old as shit. It's a page of sheet music written in a more archaic form of common. The scroll was not magical. LeBlanc had tried singing it, and that did nothing. The melody is similar to a widely known / used lullaby in the culture. I have the lyrics here as well. Rough-hewn earth, old caldera, yields a plenty, gallant waters, vows to wisdom, ideas of many, valued peaks, concordant harmony. And that's, of course, the Roy G. Biv C. It's an acrostic. What's a good time?
What was the last line that you just said?
Concordant harmony.
I fear that I sometimes I update things before I put them into the Discord, and then I don't update my own notes on them.
I wonder if maybe it's a stretch, but I wonder if those are all hints to the anchors of all the regions, because boughs of wisdom, I would assume the soul tree, the sun tree, has to be the anchor. I mean, that would make the most sense to me. The valued peaks, I do feel like kind of aligns with the mithril, especially like the story that you told us, Fendir, of the dwarf girl climbing the peaks and finding the mithril.
I assumed that Rough Hewn Earth would be this one, because I think they're also in their color order.
Oh.
Maybe. Hang on, I might be so off base.
I need to look at the map.
Because Yields Aplenty would be Jean.
Oh, I can pull the map up. I can exit us out of my pod.
Yes, please.
Well. You don't want to look at all your dead friends? Why not? You're not dead anymore.
Nobody's dead anymore.
Dog, come here. Come here, dog. Hey, you want to say hi? Yeah.
Which in that case would make... Hang on, my brain hurts.
I mean, I guess...
Anyways, ideas of many feels less tangible.
What's a caldera?
It's like a not geological. I'm forgetting words. I know it's like a biome Earth thing. I'm forgetting the exact.
A large.
I'm picturing it, but
volcanic crater that has a diameter many times that of the vent and is formed by collapse of the central part of the volcano or by explosions of extraordinary violence. So where has a volcano?
Because I would assume that line would refer to Portacali because that's orange, but we should look where has a volcano.
Would we know if Portacali has a volcano? Or does Fendir know? It does.
You really don't know much about the continent, do you? Well, actually, you know what? Vanya would 100% know because Vanya's from here. Even if he hasn't been to everywhere. Theron, you'd probably be less familiar just because you have
He's
not
read about everywhere.
But yeah, so Portacali is a pretty barren, comparably to the other provinces, which all have like pretty obvious like exports and like industries. Portacali is mostly known for being more of a like barren sort of, not desert, but sort of that dry, like rocky biome of a previously of a once erupted volcano, with a few like small.
Oh my gosh, they can make friends with Azai.
Yeah, a little bit like that. But there are some small pockets of like people who do live there. And it is on the coast, so on the other side of the volcano, is less explored and like less exposed to people don't really travel there. It's not really a destination, but there is like usefulness in like basalt and things like that.
Well, that kind of cruised over my idea because I was thinking the ideas of many could have been Coley's thing, which is maybe why couldn't speak about the about your thing.
Yeah, because then,
but
because then Gallant Waters makes a lot of sense for Jashiel.
Yeah.
Gotta say, ideas of many, fair enough for Sewell with all the things going on there. And then Amasia, yeah, on the map I'm seeing some peaks.
It has lots of
and based on the context, I'm willing to bet those are valued.
Why don't you roll me why don't you both roll me do history? Vanya, you can do history or insight. Farron, you can do insight because you don't have as much of a grounding in history of the continent itself.
Picking insight anyway because I'm better at it.
Yeah, well. Oh, great. You guys,
okay,
you guys rolled so nicely. Oh, and I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Real.
As you're having this conversation, and just for clarification in terms of just world, but because the things you would kind of know about the continent as a whole, every continent does have, or every province does have sort of its like major like natural geological feature or like major like thing that it's like most known for. So for Rodona, that is the sort of all the mining, but it's also like the strikingness of the reddish rocks across the and cliffs across the landscape. Portocali is most known for its long dormant volcano. Jean is most known for the Jean fields, which you guys have passed and walked through. That sort of grow enough food for the whole continent, or grow enough food, like large scale food for the whole continent. Jashiel is known for the the waterfalls are there, but it's also really the river itself is also really just sort of that's like it's those sort of two things combined, because the waterfalls are the mouth or the source, whatever where the rivers start is the waterfall.
Source.
The source, yeah. So the sort of the source is from the city of Zelena. Somewhere the waterfalls fall from there into this the river that runs through the whole continent and is the main freshwater source for a lot of civilizations along its not civilizations, not societies. What's the word? No, province is the name of each region. That's like townships and things. Settlements. Gosh, brain no worky.
That'll work.
And then Sewell is known for
the three of us could not come up with that word.
Yeah. Sewell is most known for the Sewell wood, but more specifically the sun tree itself, which allows for sunlight under the boughs of the forest itself. And Amasia is known for its mountains. It's also the Rodona has more of the a useful mining operation. So it does the gold, silver, limestone, salt, irons, things that are really practical for mining. There's like a couple of small, publicly known and aware of like a very small mithril vein here, a handful of like gemstone, places where gemstones are found, but very few and far between. Amasia has a good deal more of those, and Farron, you would know this because of your time there. Amasia is really the sort of one of the arcane hearts of the continent in terms of a lot of those materials that are found more abundantly there are used in magic. Gemstones are used as arcane forces, and that is just a little bit more of a sort of magic source, not magic source, but like an arcane magic is sort of more abundant there. People sort of go over there for that. And then PRISMA has the prism itself, which is considered a natural feature, geological feature.
So I think, suffice to say, my theory about that was wrong. I mean, I guess it could
It's okay. That's why we work as a
technically
team.
be correct, but I think it's probably too vague. So that still leaves me with the question of why was Viridia so like unable to answer? We'll talk freely about stuff, luminary stuff.
Maybe it's possible that doing work in Portugal for
you kind of cut out a little bit for me right when you started speaking.
Oh, perfect. To do that. Lines in the song for actually one of them to be for the capital. And I want to say that you're right that Bows to Wisdom is... I think Bows to Wisdom is correctly Sul. And then Ideas of Many might be the capital because it like brings it all together. Anyway, that reflection completed.
What is the color of the aperture?
Blue.
Blue.
Like a deep rich.
Like an indigo?
No, it's like a blue. It's just like a really almost like a royal.
I was like, boom,
like
secret
like a cobalt.
secret other providence. It's the aperture. No.
No, it's like a cobalt blue, yeah. Since it's a reskin of the cobalt soul.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
There's a variety of reasons that my uncle and his work might have put him into contact with Portugal, and that there may have been involvement that he had with her, whatever her secrets are that she's sworn to.
I don't know what Viridia's sort of parameters are, but like I said, I was able to tell the sort of legend of this place, not this place, but that place, couched in legend. But the moment I tried to speak to you earnestly about it, I was sort of tongue-tied, to say the least. So that could play a part in it as well, I think.
Though perhaps when I know more about it myself, she will be able to speak to me more forthcomingly about it because I would already know some things.
And as we've seen already, it's clearly I can talk to somebody who's already in the know about it. So I don't think you're so far off.
To clarify, is because of the weird thing where this room's not where it's supposed to be, I want to clarify.
Yes.
Was he saying that we shouldn't go back over into the mithril vein room and like back and forth a little, or is that okay?
I don't see why there'd be a problem with that. So this whole chamber is sort of like, I think would be technically called like a dummy plane, where it doesn't exactly exist on this plane, but it also exactly doesn't not exist on this plane. And so I
does that include
maybe
the mithril?
That
area, is that part of the demi-plane or just like this side building or room?
It's sort of the magic of it being bloodbound for entry to a Copperbane. So no one's supposed to be able to get into but not like a serious demi-plane, but more like so have you ever seen
pocket dimension?
There's that. Have you seen when the theater troupe came through PRISMA a couple months back? I was in town, and there's a sort of whole comedy scene based on all the characters hiding behind a door to a mansion that didn't exist but did. And so when they closed the door, the mansion didn't exist. But then when you open the door, you could walk into the mansion. And it was sort of a big comedy routine based on the mansion being in its own plane of existence, but also like it feeling like just walking into another room for the people in the scene. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the arcane spells, but I think it's something that some wizard folk and stuff can do. But it was sort of the whole. I guess you didn't see it, and so that's sort of hard. Well, to explain if you haven't seen that play. That I would recommend. It was pretty good.
What was it called? Like, is this based off of like an actual movie, or is this just like you tried to
explain? An actual D&D spell.
Oh, okay.
Mordecai's whatever mansion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm just trying. It's like but I was trying to say it in a way that would be where none of your arcane spellcasters. So So I mean, I think in theory, clearly not just in theory, it can be picked up and moved, I guess. But I think it'd take quite a bit of magical prowess that I would have never attempted it. But I don't really know. I just know that the only entrance to this place I've ever seen was through my own family mine. That's sort of the main reason that I still pull shifts there a couple times a month, so that I have an excuse and reason for being there. And also because my cousins would never let me live it down if my calluses got soft. But mostly to have access to the vein and be able to safeguard it.
Perhaps it is connected to you as its guardian, and was in some way drawn to you.
Okay, do you know what the deal with your
idea?
Sorry. Do you know what the deal is with your ring, or you really just like faith? Because it seemed pretty powerful.
I had a copper vein, had a copper in it, so I thought and it was sort of in a family vault, so I thought it would maybe made sense. It would be for me, or like that would be fine if I put it on.
When I had my detect magic up earlier, was his ring still magical?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't. It will be a magical item because I haven't given them anything, but I don't know what magic item it's going to be yet because I.
My thought process there was maybe it was cursed and the specter shadow thing hitched a ride with Fendir on that or something somehow. But
Fearin, roll me another Arcana check.
She is so suspicious of that ring. So suspicious. 14.
I know you are.
I mean, we both are. I'm the one that stuck it in the bag.
Vonnie's also the one who gave it back to Fendir, so you know. Fearin, you are thinking hard about the experience of going to that sort of secret hidden room where you found the ring and Vanya's new staff and some of the other sort of fun exciting magic items that you had found there. And you think back through that whole experience of getting to the room, and something is sticking in your mind that feels related. But you only got a 14, so I'm not going to give you the whole answer. But you think I think you feel that you're right to be suspicious of that something's not quite right, but you don't think it's you're thinking moving away from the ring as the source of
Okay.
and moving to you are reevaluating the experience, your whole experience in the mines today, now with the context that Fendir does have this sort of legacy upon them, that you didn't yet know about the times that you were traveling in the mines.
Could it have been that little explodey rune thing? Like maybe it wasn't set to dwarves specifically, but like meant for Fendir.
Yeah, let me see what I wrote. Yeah, you think that that's certainly possible. Let me there it is. Vanya, you can also Vanya, why don't you roll me a history check as well? You guys are talking about this sort of
Yay!
together.
Can I give him advantage?
Go for it. Yeah, you guys are having this conversation, Fendir is also trying to help you figure out what you're trying to think of.
Goddamn dice.
They said, "Nuh-uh."
We're thinking as hard as we can. We're gonna have an aneurysm.
Not where you get aneurysms, thankfully.
We're gonna have a stroke because that's in the brain.
You can have a brain aneurysm.
Blood vessels, but okay.
Well, yeah, but you call it a brain aneurysm. Oh, May, you're all frozen. May, you just cut out entirely, so I didn't hear any of your retort, but I'm gonna believe that it was a good one.
Oh.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna say on 11, nothing further, nothing. Yeah, I don't think you're coming up with anything on an 11 and a 14 together, unfortunately. But you can always attempt again later if you want to think back on this in the future. Also, May, are you still there with just camera off?
Yeah. I'm trying to turn it back on. We're seeing.
Yeah, no worries. Just wanted to make sure
I had to wait a second for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just didn't want to continue on with your audio if your audio was also gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on 11, Vanya doesn't.
I waited until I could see that you guys looked smooth again, and then I think we're good.
But yeah, you guys are tracking your brain, but nothing. There's another piece. Maybe you think that there's another piece from your earlier things that could maybe add to your picture of this, but you can't recall in this exact moment. I think you're still all very tired. You've had a lot of very tough encounters today. Even as you've healed yourselves, it is still a very long day, full of a lot of things coming at you. And in real life, 3 months apart.
Yeah.
So
I would like to try and do something that is a little bit. We'll see. This is a little bit of a shot in the dark.
Great.
As far as how this is written and what I'm trying to do with it, but we'll see. I would like to go back out into the other room, and I would like to touch the mithril, and I would like to cast Identify and see if that can help me in any way, like diagnose this rock or something,
Great.
I'm just going to throw an Identify at the wall and see what sticks.
Vanya, but Vanya, what does it look like when you cast Identify on something?
I think because it's like a cool luminary ability, so I think it looked kind of cool as a treat.
Did it recharge on a short/long rest, or how did that work? Because I know you used it earlier today when you identified your staff. Does it like recharge on a new day versus like long rest?
That was
excellent question.
I think that is mirrored on the Fey touched feat. And so I think that it would be...
I think that's a long rest.
Yeah, I think it is a long rest.
See.
And
ritual cast it. I don't know if that works.
Vanya cannot ritual cast because he does not know how to cast.
Thought so.
But we did get a long rest technically when we got done with the ring. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? Actually, that's correct. You got a full long rest, so you can identify. Because it's not a new day ability; it's a long rest ability.
Good job. Good remembering. All right.
I like how Anna was like, "How do you have that? Did you have?" And you're like, "Wait, no, you do have that." I like that you were like, "Wait, are you sure?" Wait, no, you do. You're a pro bono rules lawyer for good. Vanya, yeah. So, what sort of sauce do you want to put on this casting?
I think he puts out one hand and puts it like flat palm up against the mithril, and then I think his eye and his eye socket. So you can see it in his good eye, and the other eye, it's kind of like light leaking out around the edge of the eye patch almost. Kind of glow this like bluish white light sort of. And I think you get sort of I'm gonna reference something that is not at all in the vibe circle that I'm going for, but I think imagery wise it works. You guys know the meme of the confused lady with the mouth spinning around her in the air?
Of course. Yeah. I reference it all the time.
I think there's like in a similar way to that, but without the vibes of that. I think there's like in that same like glowing bluish white light, I think there are like equations and runes and formulae like sort of like orbiting and like floating around Vanya's head in that bluish white light as he does identify. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Gotta love nerds.
Vanya, do I want you to roll something for me?
Acrobatics.
Yeah, roll some acrobatics to do some backflips while you wait.
Initiative.
Initiative.
Not because I want to fight, but because I have a +9.
Oh, the shadow thing he was using similar abilities to best back in the
Yes.
colors.
That's part of why I think this might be a coordinated attack by the Ashen on the Anchors.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I just forgot that detail. And as I was scrolling back through my notes to try and think of other questions we have. Because I'm sure we have them, I just can't think of them right now.
Also, I have I thought, and I have a theory about the ring.
I would love to hear it. If you are willing
and I
to
think
share.
I think perhaps this is something that Vanya throws out as he's like mid-identify. Like the symbols all pause, and he looks over, he delivers this theory, and goes back to what he's doing. What if, when Fendir put on the ring, that called these chambers to his location?
Ooh. That is really interesting. I like that theory. It feels plausible to me.
It's based on very little. Vibes only.
That's like all I ever work with, though. So, like, you're just working on my territory. Welcome.
All right, Vanya, when he's done with the identify, kind of stops glowing and drops his hand and steps away. The results were inconclusive.
Okay, but what did you find out? Anything?
Not much abuse. I was not able to detect anything that would be helpful to our situation. But that does not mean that there is nothing there to be found, simply that so an analogy, there are many wavelengths of light, and humans and other humanoid creatures, all of us with eyes, we can only see some fraction of the spectrum of light. That's called the visible spectrum of
Correct. Yeah.
light. And the
infrared and ultraviolet are
not
visible to humans, but like think some creatures like mantis shrimp have more cones and rods, so they could see more colors.
I assumed you guys knew. Vanya is mansplaining.
Sorry, I didn't know that was Vanya. Oh, sorry. Yes, correct.
No,
I am debating whether or not Firen knows what wavelengths are.
I don't think Firen would. Actually, Firen, roll me an intelligence check with a disadvantage.
Gladly.
It can be history. It can be history, or it could be nature. But Firen did not go to. I think we said Firen didn't go to school, right? So Firen wasn't educated in this way very, very strongly.
Her sister
so
was, though.
Vanya-
Except on this one subject.
Her sister probably had a hyperfixation on wavelengths at some time.
Yes.
And you might, because it's like light and colors and whatever, you might have some innate understanding it from your chaos thingy. I don't know how that works.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Rainbowy stuff.
In any case, that is what I think may be going on here. The other, as we could say, so-called wavelengths of information may be there, but not visible to me through the means that I employed.
Did you cast an identify spell on the ancient mythical, never-ending vein of mithril from legend?
Yes.
And you thought that
Was that?
turn up answers? It's literally
I
a
apologize.
legend.
Was that socially unacceptable?
No, not socially, just... You think a first level spell is going to give you any information about a literal legend?
I do not know anything about the levels of spells necessarily. I simply have this ability now. It is new to me.
It was at least worth a shot, though. You can't blame him.
You're right. You're right. I'm not shaming you. I just forget sometimes that you all don't have spellcasting. That's at least a fifth level. Beyond even the scope of my abilities, and probably would cost a fair bit in components as well. I've heard of tale of a there's a legend lore spell, but that might be able to help with that. But again, it's one of the sources of magic on our continent. So trying to use a thing that it creates to give information about it, it's probably not going to turn up much unless it wants it.
I have an idea, potentially. So my sister would used to talk about reverse engineering stuff sometimes. And
Yes.
I wonder if we could somehow reverse engineer the effect that the shadow dude used, like the tether, that linked it to the mithril, because we know that while it had that going, I was able to restore it some. And now that I think it's because of me, being connected to the prism or whatever, I would suspect Fendir probably would be able to as well, potentially, if that thing was going. I don't know how to go about that. I'm not smart like that, but it was a thought.
I don't think it's a bad thought. I also don't know how to go about it.
And we can't really ask anyone about that, can we?
I mean, I can't ask anybody because I don't. Truly, we're in unprecedented territory because I don't know anyone else who's known anything. It's kind of nice not to be alone and keeping this sort of big generational secret. Though,
oh God, we're living in unprecedented times.
But also a little worried about, what my ancestors would do if they found out that I not only brought in outsiders, but also allowed in a great gaping maw of shadow and darkness that drained it 80% of its power and strength, and possibly doomed my people in times of destitution again.
To be fair,
I don't.
You didn't mean to, and we don't even know if you did. That was just a theory. So, like, don't be getting all hard on yourself already.
I should have.
You're just like.
No, I shouldn't known.
Don't hold yourself up to higher standards. You're just a guy. You're just a person.
Not a guy.
You're just a being. A humanoid being.
Aaron has been known to use the word guy in a non-gendered format.
Thank you, Vanya.
Phrases such as just a guy, little guy.
I love Vanya so
you guys.
much. But, like...
Yes, that is not true specific in my observation.
Don't hold yourself up to an impossible standard of, oh, I should have known not to do this, when you had no idea this was even possible. You had no idea this was going to happen, so there was no way for you to prevent it.
But when my tongue got tied and we came up to the fork, I should have recognized it for what it was. I just shouldn't have let it go any further. But
well, to be fair, at that point, it might have already been in there. Because when we arrived, it was... It did? I thought it was already tethered.
It formed the tether. Order of operations, because I went back and when I was listening to it, I was like, okay, I took a really long time to make sure I did the order of operations right. I said, I made a joke about PEMDAS. You all got to the end of the copper path.
Mm-hmm.
Vanya returned Fendir's ring. Before you crossed through this doorway that was at the end where after the three paths come back together. Had the ring back. You were I think you were talking about something. About giving the ring back, bringing them onto Fendir's finger, and the three of you were blasted 30 feet forward into the room. You turned around, you took falling damage, turned around, and a creature followed you in.
Okay.
On that, my guess is that my being here is what allowed another being. I mean, I've never wanted to or tried to bring anybody else in. Mostly because people would sort of say, where you bring me down, this unmarked secret strange corridors and these like labyrinthine mines. A little bit suspicious if you do that without explaining anything, and I couldn't explain anything, and why bring anybody if you don't? But when my dad brought me in, he did bring me in before he explained anything. And so and he went in first, so I'm wondering if us crossing that threshold sort of, once someone's in here, then it's open, but it doesn't usually matter because no one knows where it is. And then,
my point still stands. You thought the only way to get here was in your family's minds, correct? Before today, that is what you believe.
Aye.
So then, even as we came in and you noticed that you couldn't speak about some things, we were also like asking you a bunch of questions about stuff, which also maybe that was the reason you wrote off, like your subconscious wrote it off, because we were being nosy. But there was no way for you to have predicted that this would have happened. So don't go blaming yourself for this.
But
in any case,
no buts.
Your appointment to this position is the result of the cultivation of generations of appointees to this position. And so your ancestors possibly be disappointed in you any more than they could be disappointed in themselves. And in any case, I think I said that to start the last phrase. Let's move on. You statistically are unlikely to be actually the first to bring outsiders into here if all it requires is touch. I highly doubt there has been no ancestor of yours who has not noticed perhaps an ant that had crawled onto their shoe and was brought into the chambers with them.
Bug. Not like your mother's sister.
What? What?
When you first said an ant onto your shoe, I thought you meant like.
Oh.
Before you finished, I was thinking, and I was so confused, and I thought you meant, I was very confused as to why my aunt would be on my shoe, and then I realized you meant the bug, and I don't think the bugs are. I mean, it's been a hard day. But yeah, they need me there in person. They need me to touch them. It seems to cross the threshold. They need me. They were looking for me. Oh, God, oh, they don't say gods because there's no gods.
Oh, Prism.
Oh, Prism. What's the Prism's Forge? Oh my gems. You both see Fendir slide slowly to the floor, against the wall, and you can roll me insight checks. Vanya with advantage.
Whoa. Big day.
Vanya usually would need it on a wisdom thing, but.
Right. Big day for Vanya to get advantage on insight about someone else's feelings.
Yeah, it's really special for him. Firen, you see that Fendir seems to be having somehow yet another nervous breakdown for the day. Seems to be having a bit of a nervous breakdown. Vanya, you're a scientific mind. You are once again in the math lady mode.
Yeah.
As you are seeing all these images from the day you've had so far, that beast seemed awfully intent on carrying Fendir away.
Oh, right.
And there are a lot of dwarven bodies that were strewn about just outside the sort of corridors before the entrance to this legendary mine began. And Vanya, though you are not the most proficient in reading others' emotions, you see, even you understand the innate devastation on Fendir's face as they take on the guilt of 59 friends, relatives, and neighbors that you have tallied up so carefully in your notebook, having thought it was just an act of random violence.
Vanya will go over and sit down next to Fendir and kind of like, so that their shoulders are so that Fendir's shoulder is touching Vanya's elbow.
Oh, yeah. The torso lengths aren't. I feel like Vanya has long legs.
It's mostly leg, but
he's mostly legs.
He's
so
just long.
Maybe actually, yeah.
He's a very long boy.
Do you share the information with Aaron or keep it?
Hang on. Thinking of words that are kind and also Vanya-like.
At this point, Fearon, you see that Fendir is fully like sobbing, and their words are sort of incomprehensible. But
so the monster thingy was trying to carry Fendir in the direction of this or away from this.
Your understanding at the time was that the monster had been trying to get Fendir to a shadow, in the sense of getting it away into a shadow so it could use its teleport ability.
Right.
That you are now thinking perhaps would have gotten it closer. And then also that would make sense as to why there was sort of a break in the blood spatter, because if you're sort of, just going back and forth teleporting, you don't necessarily need to carry them all
right
through the corridor, but it's sort of easy to, like, okay, you drop one body, you chew on it a little bit because you're hungry, and then you can pick up another person or cowering thing. So yeah. But Fearon, you sort of hear Fendir sort of between muffled like sobs into their like knees, about it being all their fault. All those people died died because of me. Things to that.
Oh,
effect.
PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah. Vanya will say, things in the world naturally tend towards entropy and towards chaos. And events are not predictable. And in many cases, not preventable. As you mentioned earlier, currently there is no way to stop an earthquake from happening. On a personal level, many of these things that happened are no more in your direct control than an earthquake or than the tides. We all make mistakes. There is no need to borrow the grief of mistakes that are not shown, when there will be plenty to come.
I feel like Fear would sort of froze as she heard, Fendir saying how it's all his fault stuff, because that does echo back to like what she thinks about her own trauma. And then she falls to her knees next to Fendir, and trying to decide if she like hug him or them. She will take their hand in her own, in both of her. She will squeeze it, and I felt very same way feeling right now. I have same words myself. I still don't know what to say. It still hurts. I know can't do much, but okay, I'm waiting.
Sorry. Worst time possible, my AirPods to a bed.
No, it's okay. I know I can't do much about it, but there is one thing I can do. I have to keep going. I have to keep one step after another, because if I don't, then why am I still here? Why was I not the one to go? Why? I can't let their sacrifices be in vain. Neither can you. And with that, they will drape part of the blanket they have started to knit. It's not very much done. It's like maybe that wide. It's more like a scarf, but she is planning on making it a blanket.
But it's a very nice sentiment.
And we'll drape it around them.
Yeah. Fendir looks up at you, Kieran, and one step after another, even when our fingers are worn down to the bone.
Exactly.
And sort of rest their head against Vanya's shoulder on one side and is clutching your hand in the other, and they squeeze when they say worn to the bone, fingers worn to the bone. And you all sit there for just a moment, I think, wrapped in this grief of so many people have died unnecessarily from this creature, from this natural disaster that no longer feels quite natural. And just take a moment of silence for their loss, and for the losses you've all faced in your lives. That kind of feels like a good place to stop. Kind of a divvy down, but I think that is a really, lovely sentiment.